Before conquering the world with their catchy tunes and infectious charisma, the Beatles had humble origins in the city of Liverpool, England. The band, initially comprising John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Stuart Sutcliffe, began playing in local clubs and dives, honing their sound and songwriting skills. It was during their formative years in the early 1960s that they caught the attention of Brian Epstein, their future manager, who helped polish their image and secure a record deal. Little did anyone know that these four lads from Liverpool would go on to redefine the rock music landscape and become one of the most influential bands in history. The Rolling Stones, often dubbed as the bad boys of rock and roll, didn't have an easy ride to stardom. Formed in London in 1962, the band started as a group of blues enthusiasts, deeply inspired by American artists like Muddy Waters and Chuck Berry. Led by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, they tirelessly toured small venues, building a loyal fan base while facing financial struggles and lineup changes. It wasn't until the mid-1960s that the Rolling Stones' distinct sound and rebellious attitude struck a chord with the masses, propelling them to rock and roll glory and cementing their status as one of the greatest bands of all time. Led Zeppelin, the pioneers of hard rock and heavy metal, emerged from the ashes of the Yardbirds, another iconic British band. Comprising Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham, Led Zeppelin started as session musicians, lending their talents to various recording projects. In 1968, they formed their own band, blending blues, folk, and rock influences to create a unique and groundbreaking sound. Their self-titled debut album, released in 1969, catapulted them to fame with hits like Good Times Bad Times and Dazed and Confused. Led Zeppelin's relentless experimentation and electrifying performances earned them a place in rock history. Queen, known for their theatrical performances and soaring anthems, began their journey in London in the early 1970s. Brian May, Roger Taylor, John Deacon, and the incomparable Freddie Mercury joined forces to create a one-of-a-kind musical experience. Queen faced initial setbacks and struggled to find their footing, but their persistence paid off when they signed with EMI Records in 1973. With the release of their third album, Sheer Heart Attack, the band started gaining attention, and it was their 1975 masterpiece, Bohemian Rhapsody, that propelled them to international fame. Queen's boundary-pushing music and Mercury's magnetic stage presence secured their place as rock royalty. Guns N' Roses, with their raw energy and rebellious spirit, carved their path to rock dominance amidst the glitz and glam of the 1980s music scene. The band, formed in Los Angeles in 1985, was led by charismatic frontman Axl Rose and guitar virtuoso Slash. In the early days, Guns N' Roses faced the challenges of a volatile lineup and struggled to break into the mainstream. However, their relentless determination and explosive live performances eventually caught the attention of Geffen Records. The release of their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, in 1987 marked a turning point for the band, fueled by hits like Sweet Child O' Mine and Welcome to the Jungle. Guns N' Roses quickly became the voice of a generation, embodying the excesses and grit of rock and roll. Hailing from Sydney, Australia, AC/DC embarked on a journey that would electrify the world with their signature brand of hard rock. The band, formed by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young in 1973, faced early obstacles such as lineup changes and the tragic death of lead singer Bon Scott. However, they persevered and regrouped with vocalist Brian Johnson, releasing their groundbreaking album, Back in Black, in 1980. This album became an instant classic, featuring hits like Hell's Bells and the iconic You Shook Me All Night Long. AC/DC's electrifying riffs, blistering solos, and unrelenting energy turned them into a global rock phenomenon, firmly securing their place in the annals of music history. Nirvana, led by the enigmatic Kurt Cobain, emerged from the underground Seattle music scene in the late 1980s to redefine the rock landscape. Cobain, along with bassist Chris Novoselic and drummer Dave Grohl, captured the disenchanted spirit of a generation with their influential blend of punk and grunge. Despite a tumultuous early career, marked by label rejections and lineup changes, Nirvana's breakthrough came with the release of their second album, Nevermind, in 1991. The instant success of the album, propelled by the anthemic "Smells Like Teen Spirit," catapulted Nirvana to the forefront of alternative rock and ignited a cultural shift in music. Sadly, Cobain's untimely death in 1994 marked the end of the band's journey, but their impact on the rock genre remains indelible. Pink Floyd's ethereal soundscapes and thought-provoking lyrics have left an indelible mark on the rock music landscape. Originating in London in 1965, the band began as a psychedelic outfit, experimenting with innovative sound techniques and mind-bending concepts. Led by Roger Waters, David Gilmour, and the late Syd Barrett, Pink Floyd's journey to success was not without its challenges. Barrett's departure due to mental health issues led to Waters taking the helm, shaping the band's iconic sound. Albums like The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall propelled Pink Floyd into the realm of rock legends, pushing the boundaries of musical expression. The Who, known for their explosive live performances and anthems of rebellion, emerged from the British mod scene of the 1960s. With Roger Daltrey's powerful vocals, Pete Townshend's virtuosic guitar playing, and the dynamic rhythm section of John Entwistle and Keith Moon, The Who forged a path of their own. From smashing guitars to concept albums like Tommy, their artistic vision challenged conventions. The tragic loss of Moon in 1978 tested the band's resilience, but they continued to produce hits like Baba O'Reilly and My Generation, solidifying their status as one of rock's most influential bands. U2's soaring melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and Bono's passionate vocals have made them one of the most successful rock bands of all time. Hailing from Dublin, Ireland, the band formed in 1976 and faced early struggles to find their unique voice. It was their album, The Joshua Tree, released in 1987, that propelled them to global stardom with hits like With or Without You and Where the Streets Have No Name. U2's activism and social consciousness have been integral to their identity, inspiring millions of fans worldwide and cementing their place in rock history. Aerosmith's blues-infused hard rock and Steven Tyler's dynamic stage presence have solidified their status as rock icons. Originating from Boston in the early 1970s, the band faced numerous hurdles, including addiction struggles and lineup changes. However, their perseverance paid off when they released the album Toys in the Attic in 1975, featuring hits like Sweet Emotion and Walk This Way. Aerosmith's electrifying performances and timeless rock anthems have earned them a dedicated fanbase and a place among the greatest bands of all time. The Doors, led by the enigmatic Jim Morrison, emerged from the vibrant counterculture of 1960s Los Angeles. Morrison's poetic lyrics and charismatic stage presence, combined with Ray Manzarek's haunting keyboards, propelled the band to fame. Hits like Light My Fire and Break On Through to the Other Side captivated audiences and showcased their fusion of rock, blues, and psychedelia. The tragic death of Morrison in 1971 marked the end of the band's era, but their impact on rock music endures as a testament to Morrison's artistic genius.